The Knicks postgame show is presented by Tri-State Audi. Visit your Tri-State area Audi deal today. The Charlotte Hornets keep rolling. Impressive indeed tonight. LaMelo Ball on the outside at 22. The very possible Rookie of the Year, Knippel, showed why with 6 threes. He's made more threes in the history of the NBA than any rookie, more than any rookie ever has. Third starter with at least 20 points, Brandon Miller with 21. So Ball 22, Knippel 26, Miller 21. Hornets and the Knicks winning streak at 7, 114 to 103. Great to have you with us here in our Delta MSG studios. Bill Pidto, along with Alan Hahn and Monica McNutt. The one number, guys, that jumps off the stat page. Knicks 24 rebounds, fewest in a game since the 12-13 season, and Monica outboarded by 19. Charlotte had 19 more rebounds than the Knicks did. That's the biggest differential against for the Knicks all season long.
I don't like it. There were lots of long rebounds, as we anticipated, when you got a team that shoots as many threes as the Charlotte Hornets. And that's where it stops for me. I'm trying to come up with...
A lot of it was the offensive rebounding.
Yeah.
Right? 12 offensive rebounds for Charlotte really stands out because of all the extra
And the Knicks only had 5.
And that's out of character.
Completely out of character.
And so, all the numbers are saying 16 points, a second chance. But, Monica, let's be honest. Like, the Knicks have an identity of being a great rebounding team with 2 guys that are dominant rebounders. Mm-hmm. And Karl-Anthony Towns is number 2 in the league in rebounding. He has 3 rebounds in this entire game. So he's not felt in this game.
No.
Charlotte played their identity. Charlotte found it, and sometime in December, they figured out who they are.
Yeah.
And they have a game that they play, and it's a lot
fast.
It's fast-paced, it's quick shooting, up and down the floor, but it's also a defense they're coming at you in waves. They're going to put pressure on you. They're going to frustrate you. They play hard. They get it to the boards, too. The Knicks couldn't play their identity because Charlotte wouldn't let them. Well, and one team felt comfortable in their identity, and the other team didn't. Because maybe one is still trying to figure out who they are, and by that one, I mean the Knicks.
I'm with you, and so I just for the sake of the exercise, they're starting 5. Knuppel 6'6", Bridges is 6'7", Musa Diabate 6'10", Brandon Miller 6'7", LaMelo Ball 6'7", which on its surface, if you just look at that, you're like, so Karl-Anthony Towns is 7 foot, what? No big deal.
They average about 6'7".
And the switchability of all of these guys in terms of being willing to guard with energy, getting to the glass. Like, from the first quarter, I think we all observed that the Knicks have been out-energized by this squad.
Yes.
But when you say playing to their identity, yes, we talk about them leading the league in terms of the threes that they take and make. But on defense, when you have NBA sort of prototypes that can just switch and play with tremendous energy, it requires a level of attentiveness for your offense if you're the New York Knicks. It can't just be Jalen Brunson trying to carry it away with a double-double and nobody else is getting involved. Like, that's just not
And that's where Towns, we have seen Karl-Anthony Towns have really good games. When he gets the ball early, gets involved early. He did not, and from there, he just did not have an impact on the game. But as we talked about with the Knicks, over that 7-game stretch, and now even again tonight, first quarter, 3-point defense has been an issue. Charlotte hit 6 of 11 from downtown. That is still on brand for what has happened with the Knicks of late. The Knicks did get 36 points, which is good in the first quarter, but gave up 38. That continues. These slow starts, soft defense, especially on 3-point defense, has been a major issue. And the close of the first half.
Second quarter,
That really was the game right there, because it was a 1-point game, and the Knicks were going back and forth. Very entertaining up and down game. And then Charlotte seemed to put it into another gear. And that's when everything turned. They closed the half at 15-6. The Knicks were down 10 and only got it maybe to, 9? That's the closest for the rest of this game. That was it right there. The end of that quarter felt like that changed the whole game.
Talking about the Hornets and their ability to hit threes. They made 16. They lead the league in threes made per game at 16. So they hit their average, which is tops in the league. And, Alan, you went through the sequence. End of the first half, Knicks outscored. And aside, Monica, from the last handful of minutes, Knicks really weren't in the game at all in the second half.
No, and this is the thing about a team that shoots the 3 so well. It becomes such, deflating basketball. I mean, look at where LaMelo Ball is taking these shots from, right? Like, you're doing your best trying to scramble, contest, and these guys are knocking it down as if you were never in their face.
He hit 6 of 10.
It's so deflating. But you got to give this young team a lot of credit, though. And to your point, Hahn, while the threes is what will catch your eye, the defense is really what has them with a better record over the last 30 games now than the Knicks do with tonight's win.
Yeah, and you're seeing, look at that pass over that. They play very loose, very free. They seem to play a fun style, right? and the threes are a big part of it. But you're right. That's almost a distraction. All the things we're showing you, the offense, them just running harder, because the Knicks, you could tell, they just weren't, they didn't have it tonight, clearly, and they knew it. But this team defensively, which we aren't showing you, but the way they made it difficult for the Knicks, Jalen Brunson, they took away a lot of the spray-out threes. The Knicks only attempted 29, as you can see. That is not typical for them, but there's the number, you see it highlighted.
Fast break point.
Well, that's there too, but the 7.
But
it was
you know what's interesting?
It was 15-0. Yeah,
You know what's really interesting? The
time.
second chance points are not indicative of how badly the Knicks got out-rebounded.
Right. Well, the
That's
offensive
interesting.
rebounds, the 12 offensive rebounds should have been more than 16.
Right.
But it's still an extra possession. It's
Right.
still the deflating offensive rebounds, some of the long rebounds, whatever it was. But I can't get over that number for a Knicks team. This is what you do.
Yeah.
Like, this is why you're a good team. And that did not happen tonight.
No, it didn't. And, you know, we'll go through the box score. If you actually look at it, the Knicks had 17 points off the 18 turnovers that Charlotte forced. But the Knicks gave up 13 points off turnovers of their own. And so just on a night where you thought perhaps the maturity of this team is going to shine through, right? They'll surely slow down the pace of this basketball game, make this Hornets squad defend. That didn't happen until late, and it was a little too far gone in mind when it finally did start to happen. And so the 3-point, this was the example of what we were cautious of over the soft 7, if you will. Okay, cool. Y'all struggled to defend the 3-point line versus these teams that you're able to come back against. This was not that.
Well, they're the
that
best
three-point line, exactly.
Best three-point shooting team in the league.
And once you turn a young team on like that with that sort of energy at home with the crowd that is desperate to see a win over the New York Knicks, that is hard. You can't put that toothpaste back in the tube. And that's what happened tonight.
Yeah, it's exactly what happened. You had to know what was coming. This is a team that was clearly gunning for you, which we've seen that this season, but it doesn't matter. They wanted this game bad. This team's tired of their building being MSG South. They were tired of all that stuff. They knew we need to get the crowd on our side. They've had the crowd on their side. 10 straight sellouts down there. They have never done that since that arena has opened. So they are celebrating something down there. And I'll tell you this, watch out for this team. If you meet them in the first round, there's a Dragon Slayer somewhere at the bottom of the Eastern standings when it comes to the playoff bracket, whether it's Charlotte or Atlanta. There's a Dragon Slayer, I'm telling you, that somebody's got to watch out.
Let's look at this. The Knicks very well can end up 3rd. Charlotte could very well end up 6th.
Yeah.
You know what that means?
Yeah. But
First round.
Funny. It's funny, maybe not, but the right word. I find it coincidental that we're talking about Charlotte. A year ago, 2 years ago for sure, Atlanta posed similar problems for this group. It was the athleticism, it was the switchability. These are the types of matchups where everybody has to be on their P's and Q's, both defensively and offensively, because with a team that plays that fast and free, and with the defenders that Atlanta has, you got to make them feel you in terms of pressing the issue with your physicality on the offensive end.
Yes.
And I don't think the Knicks got into the body of these Hornets at any point tonight.
There was none of that, and you could tell.
But too quick.
Well, never mind. Never mind that. But Monica nailed it, because that shows you why the rebounding numbers were the way they were. Because if you're playing physical, if they're feeling you, they're not getting that many rebounds, because you're a bigger team and you're a better team. But they had the energy, you didn't, and it just felt like the more they started running, the more they started flying around, it just felt like this team, this Knicks team, just didn't want to go there. Just not tonight, for whatever reason, didn't want to raise their level. In a playoff series, you have no choice.
It's problematic.
You absolutely have to. But I'll say it one more time. Whether it's this team or Atlanta, there's a Dragon Slayer laying in the weeds at the bottom of the bracket in the Eastern Conference.
Charlotte now 23-6 in its last 29. Tonight's thrilling moment brought to you by FanDuel Casino. Get your thrill on, and we focus here on these some crazy threes. I mean, LaMelo Ball, he's shooting off of one leg from 35 feet away.
You know what's great, though, Michael? How about the difference between the two of them? Between the way Knuckle is shooting threes all squared up and pure, and then like this stuff. His hips are facing the sideline, Mon.
Hey, bro, this is the way I'm
supposed to shoot like that.
It's going in.
Look at this.
Maybe that's what I was doing wrong all these years.
Aside from us being in New York, this is a really incredibly entertaining basketball game.
Miller, Knuckle, and Ball, right? Each with 20, at least 20 points.
They hit,
and Kobe White now off the bench, right?
Yeah,
former Bull.
They hit 14 of the threes of the 16. They hit those 3 guys you just named. Hit 14 of the 16
Also, cautionary tale, Con Knuckle, while the numbers, statistics are historic in terms of him putting up Steph Curry numbers, better than Steph Curry numbers in his rookie season, that young man is not just a shooter. Do not.
11 rebounds.
8 assists.
8 assists, nearly a triple-double.
Yeah.
Do not limit that young man to being just a shooter. Like, he's outstanding cerebral basketball player who's in a system that not only fits his shooting ability, but as a unit, they just cooking. They just moving and shaking. And I give Charles Lee a ton of credit. When you think about it, though, I'm not surprised that threes are such a prolific part of this offense when he is immediately off that Boston tree.
There you go.
Right? Like, this is what we're doing.
You got to have guys that have to make the shots. They got guys to make the shots.
100% true, yes.
All right, so the Hornets beat the Knicks tonight. Knicks failed to wrap up a top 6 spot, but many more games ahead to get that done. Mike Brown's postgame comments coming up as his Knicks lose tonight to the Hornets, 114-103.
The Knicks postgame show is presented by Audi. Visit your Tri-State Audi dealer today.
The Knicks' 7-game winning streak is over as they lose at Charlotte, 114-103. Mike Brown's postgame comments presented by Chase.
You give Charlotte a lot of credit for winning this game. I thought they came out, they took the fight to us, and we responded in spurts. I think, I don't know if I've seen us give up more pocket threes excuse me, to a team like than tonight. You know, we gave up a lot of pocket threes, and at times we weren't up to touch. And then at times we got hit and didn't get over the screen with the ball. But our pick and roll defense wasn't good. And part of the reason why it wasn't good was because they set great screens. They set great physical screens, and we didn't do a good enough job protecting one another in the pick and roll. Again, whether it was us not getting over or us not being up to touch. They got out in transition against us. You could just see it. They just threw the ball up the court. We weren't sprinting back with a sense of urgency, and they hit a couple of threes. They got to the rim a couple of times. But, again, we did that in spurts tonight. They just kicked our behind on the glass. We need more production on the glass than what we got from a handful of guys. But if you're going to go on the road and let a team out-rebound you 43-24, not even close, 43-24, because we didn't put bodies on bodies. We didn't hit first. Their long shots, I keep telling my group, long shots equal long rebounds, and we go to contest and we stop on the play. We have to do a better job giving multiple effort. Contest, stay in the play and box out, because if the shot is missed, a lot of times that ball's coming right back to the shooter. We didn't do a good job on that. The last 2 possessions that we got stops at and they got offensive rebounds, that happened. We contested, flew by them, and stopped and watched, and the ball bounced right back to the shooter. So for us to get beat the way we did on the glass can't happen. And again, it was for 2 reasons. 1, their physicality, their effort on the glass. And 2, the long rebounds. We didn't give them multiple effort to contest, stay in the play, and box out. So give them a lot of credit for going and getting the win, because they definitely did do that, starting with their physicality.
That rebounding element, is that why you went with Mitch over Cat for so long today?
That was part of it. I just thought when we had Mitch in there with certain guys, we were able to match their physicality, and we made a run, but we were down 20 at that time, and that's, versus a good team on the road, it's tough to do.
I think in the first half you were making shots, they were running right at it.
For sure.
Was that their style, or was it something you guys weren't getting back on?
No, that's their style. They play fast. They want to let that thing fly. They got shooters. They're going to let it fly. They got really good young shooters, and if you don't make them feel us, Josh did a great job. Josh was up into the ball. He was physical with his man without fouling. He showed his hands when he needed to, but everybody that he guarded, they felt him. I can't say it was like that all the way across the board, and we have to do a better job of that if we expect to beat a good team like this on the road.
Con Knuppel led the Hornets in scoring tonight. Just what makes him such a difficult cover?
He's tough, but more importantly, obviously, he can shoot the basketball, but he doesn't just rely on his three-point shot. You know, he was 6 for 10 tonight from the three. He moves very well without the ball. They do a great job setting screens for him. He creates separation in and out of screens. And then he gets out and he runs in transitions. So he does all the little things to keep pressure on you. And he's relentless with those things. And you know, if you're a great shooter and you can do those things, you got a chance to have great nights. And he had a really good night for him tonight. But on top of that, you know, you're talking about a two-guard that had 11 rebounds. You know, we didn't have one guy get double-digit rebounds. And, you know, everybody's like, oh, Khan's shooting. Yeah, his shooting, but got rebounded his behind off, too, as a two-guard, and we didn't match that at all.
You could put Tyler instead of Jose in the second half.
Yeah.
Busted
And just, you know, Tyler, the short minutes that he's played well, so I just wanted to throw him out there, see if he can give us a spark on either end of the floor.
If rebounding is mostly effort, energy, stuff like that, why do you think?
You got to box out too. You know, you got to put bodies on bodies.
And at the end of Mike Brown's press conference, he did a little bit of a tutorial demonstration about what was happening with the Knicks with the offensive rebound, and they were giving up. He's talking about, Monica, contest and flyby, which was allowing what?
Right. So we talked about this pregame that long threes usually lead to long rebounds. So on the shot, right?
You see that he's
Mike is going to give the demonstration.
Right now, right?
Yep. So the shot's going up, and he's talking about the way that the guys are closing out. So you fly by because you're defending this three. So you shoot the ball, right? Alan, my defender, is now thrown out of the operation. The long rebound bounces off the rim. I'm the first here. Now I'm dribbling back out. The Hornets are resetting or looking for a dunk or whatever else. But it's a second chance opportunity off the long rebound because the defender is out of position because you didn't hustle to get back or you didn't close out short and chop your feet the way that you're taught. So.
Yeah, and that is something certainly that he talked about, the physicality as well, holding off, boxing out, whatever it is. But sometimes even just technique allows for the 12 offensive rebounds that the Knicks gave up.
We continue now as the Hornets tonight beat the Knicks 114-103. Back from the corner three presented by Michelob Ultra Superior Light Beer. You know, it's interesting. You look at the box score, and we spent a lot of time digesting the numbers. Every Knicks starter, Monica, scored double figures. Normally when you see that happen, the Knicks win.
Yeah,
not tonight.
Yeah, because you usually see that in tandem with the Knicks being able to rebound. Like that is one thing that has been true to this team's identity all season long. And tonight you out-rebounded by 19. That's the story of the ballgame in my mind.
Yeah, it is. And at bench production, there wasn't a ton there. Clarkson had a decent game, but you know, other than Mitchell Robinson, this Jose Alvarado thing you got to keep an eye on because he really lately has not been himself, and maybe he's trying to figure some things out to a point where that Mike Brown even went to Tyler Kolek to give him some minutes at the point guard position. Alvarado's an important piece for this team, so if he's not feeling it right now, they got to get him right before the playoffs.
And no Landry Shamet, although it's not considered serious with the knee, and maybe Deuce McBride is back
closer.
soon.
Keeps getting closer.
That could be obviously consequential.
Getting whole definitely will benefit this team. Like those are two guys in particular that were important to defense, and that was the thing that was missing tonight.
Yeah. All right, as it is, Knicks go down. Mike Brown's crew losing to the Hornets 114-103. Knicks are now 48-26 on the season.
The Knicks postgame show is presented by Audi. Visit your Tri-State Audi dealer today.
And the Knicks lost tonight. Josh Hart's string of 9 straight made threes comes to an end. He went 2 for 4, so he's now 11 of his last 13 from downtown. Here's Hart now after the game.
They played very well. They were physical. I just felt like we were a step slow. I think that's, you know, when other team is playing, you know, at that pace with that physicality and you're a step slow, it's not going to be a good day.
Josh, the team's been playing well on the defensive end. What made it so difficult with Charlotte tonight?
I think their pace. You they played like they were shot out of cannon. Like I said, I just felt like we were a step slow in a lot of those actions. So I think that's what it was.
It seemed like even on made field goals in the first half, they're just going on everything.
Yeah, I mean they were pushing at pace, and obviously they got Melo who pushed the pace a lot, but they have multiple ball handlers in that unit, and so they don't just rely on him, and so he can get the quick outlet, or Khan can get the quick outlet, B. Miller can get the quick outlet, and they're going. So, when the team is playing with that pace, like I said, if you're playing, a step slow, it's going to be tough.
Melo Ball and the Hornets beat the Knicks tonight, 114-103. The Knicks' 7-game winning streak is over. All right, so Tuesday night, the Knicks take on the Rockets. Sunday, they're at OKC. That's on national TV. So we have our next MSG game with the Knicks at the Rockets Tuesday night. Pregame at 7:30, game at 8. You can also stream our coverage on the Gotham Sports app. Want more than just a postgame show? Link your eligible TV subscription to stream Knicks games free, or subscribe today in the Gotham Sports app. Just go to gothamsports.tv to learn more.